Remembrance Day Committee maintains constant communication with the London Middlesex Health Unit. And like any military undertaking, information is essential. Preparedness for any contingency is paramount. Unfortunately, the virus is still with us, so safety of all who attend was constantly top of mind as these preparations were made. So we gather once more with the knowledge that although much progress has been made in the battle against this invisible foe, we must remain vigilant. Many of us are gathering virtually today thanks to our community-minded media friends at Rogers TV, CTV London, and Chorus Media's Global News Radio AM 980 CFPL. We welcome those who are with us at home. On Remembrance Day, we honor the memory of young men and women who died in the pursuit of peace. Theirs was the ultimate sacrifice. Whether they were one of the 267 who died in South Africa, the 68,000 who died in that first Great War, the 47,000 who died in the Second War, the 516 who died in the Korean War, the 134 who were taken in Vietnam, and more recently, one of the 128 who died in Afghanistan. Today, we honor the pledge that we will remember them. They were mothers, fathers. They were sons, daughters. They were brothers, sisters. They were aunts, uncles, friends. They were neighbors. And they were left to mourn them. At the center of today's ceremony is the act of remembrance. And you should know that it is observed year-round at meetings of the Royal Canadian Legion as they remember comrades. But each year, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, people across our nation join to honor the memory of those who made the supreme sacrifice. We join today, whether here present or virtually, with members of the military who have taken an oath to serve their country first and above all else. We show respect for those who have served in battle and in day-to-day readiness to respond to any peril that threatens our peace and our security. Today, veterans from Parkwood Hospital have been transported here and are observing this ceremony from their buses stationed directly across from the cenotaph. As the ceremony progresses, no doubt those veterans will recall comrades with whom they formed a bond that only those who marched and fought together can truly understand. And in our moments of silence, they will march again with those who march no more. And as each of us stand in silent respect of those whose sacrifice denied the life we live today, we will relate to their sense of loss through our own encounters with death. Again today, our ceremony here at the cenotaph is limited in numbers. But we hold this ceremony knowing that it honors each and every one of those people who died in service. Those who fought came from every corner of Canada. They came from rural communities. They came from villages, from cities, and they came from our First Nations to serve and to protect this land. Many did not return. And today, once again, these moments of silence are even more profound as we join, knowing that no matter how far apart we seem to be, during this silence, we are together in our resolve to remember them. Our bugler today, once again, is David Cunningham. We are becoming familiar with the story of that bugle. The bugle you'll hear him sound the last post and the rouse with was handed down to him by his grandfather. His grandfather sounded that last post and rouse with the very bugle over 100 years ago at Vimy Ridge. So when you hear that bugle today, it truly is an echo of the past, and it is a connection with all of those who have fallen. Our piper is Pipe Major Scott Shaw of the London Police Pipes and Drums. And again this year, when Piper Shaw plays the lament following our 2 minutes of silence, he will be joined across the city at cemeteries where those who fell in service are interred. There is a piper stationed to also play the lament there. At Woodland, Laurie Marson. At Forest Lawn, Dave Hutchison. At St. Peter's, Fletcher Haley. At Mount Pleasant, Joanne Robillard. At Fanshawe College, Pat Porter. And at the Remembrance Gardens, Glenn McGregor. And those of you who are able, who are joining us virtually, are encouraged to stand in the doorway to join in silent tribute. This event here today is organized by the Royal Canadian Legion, partnered with the Canadian Forces, the RCMP, and the City of London. Your parade commander is Lieutenant Colonel Rick Phillips. The reviewing officer is Brigadier General Mark Campbell. Our parade chaplain is Colonel the Right Reverend Nigel Shaw. And once again this year, for the 15th consecutive year, our Silver Cross Mother is Carolyn Wilson. Stand if you are able for the playing of our national anthem, O Canada.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. We are gathered today, hearts filled with gratitude and pride for all those who have served Canada in every time and place, those who made the ultimate sacrifice, as well as those who still carry the wounds of service in body and soul. We are grateful for the supreme sacrifice so many Canadians made and were ready to make on land, in the air, at sea. We are grateful to all the men and women, our Anglophones, Francophones, Indigenous peoples, and veterans of all ethnic and religious communities. We are grateful to them for putting their lives on hold and at risk in order to eliminate tyranny and defend liberty. We are grateful to the younger veterans and the older veterans who gather in mutual respect and admiration as partners in the battle against evil. We are grateful to them for fighting our fight to ensure freedom and dignity for everyone. We remember their deeds of courage, their acts of valor, their willing sacrifice. During this time of remembrance, we think of those families whose lives have been changed by wars and service. Parents or children have been killed or permanently handicapped, where people have been forced to flee to safety, never to return to their homes. We think of their bravery and courage, their sadness and loneliness, their suffering and pain. We remember, and we give thanks that we have not had to live in a country at war. We remember those in trouble, sorrow or distress, and especially at this time, the disabled and wounded, and all who must carry through the years a burden of suffering. Let not our gratitude fail or grow weary, but deepen our sympathy, that we may reach out and bear one another's burdens. Amen.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. The marker place and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw a sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
This morning, 8 official wreaths will be laid by representatives of our nation, our province, our city, as well as members of today's serving forces and community organizations, They will lay wreaths to honor and connect with the fallen. All other wreaths have been laid over the past 24 hours and will continue to be laid in accordance with all of the safety precautions by individuals and by organizations who wish to show their respect and honor on this Remembrance Day. Our first wreath will be laid by Silver Cross Mother Carolyn Wilson. She will be escorted by Warrant Officer Derek McClinchy. Carolyn is the mother of Trooper Mark Wilson, who was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2006. I'll be laid on behalf of Canada by local MP, London North Centre Representative Peter Fragacostas. He is escorted by retired Captain Jerry Jarasco. Representing the province of Ontario, on behalf of all of the people of Ontario, London Centre MPP Terence Carnahan. He is escorted by Lieutenant Commander Mark Vandenbosch. On behalf of the City of London, His Worship Mayor Ed Holder. He will be accompanied by London's Chief of Police, Steve Williams. On behalf of the Canadian Armed Forces, Brigadier General Mark Campbell, assisted by Aide-de-Camp Captain Derek Lund. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Superintendent Matt Peggs, escorted by Inspector Andrew Collin. On behalf of the Royal Canadian Legion, Brian W. Harris, Vice President of the Ontario Legion, escorted by Zone A6 Commander Randy Warden. And on behalf of the Order of the Daughters of the Empire, Eat Kirchhoff. She is escorted by Bruce Shaw. The IODE is responsible for this cenotaph. It was dedicated here on November 10th, 1934. And if you look at the program, you'll see a brief history of the planning and the organization that started in 1919. The cenotaph is a replica of the cenotaph that stands in Whitehall, London, England. Today, your sentry commander is Sergeant Jeff Weibel. And the sentries, representing the Navy, Sailor First Class McDonald LaPlante. Representing the Army, Corporal Grant Decker. Representing the Air Force, Major Corporal Robert Sargent. And representing the RCMP, Corporal James King. To bring our time of remembrance to a close, the Colonel, Right Reverend Nigel Shaw, will offer a closing prayer, and that will be followed by God Save the Queen. Following the anthem, there will be a general salute, and then a march of colors and parade dismissal. Reverend Shaw.
At this time of remembrance, let us be thankful for the life that it's our privilege to enjoy in this land, remembering that it has been won at a great price and must be defended, and remembering that this life must be for all who inhabit this land. We are thankful for the peace we enjoy and for the opportunity that is ours of building a better order of society in this Canada for the generations to come. We remember with pride and gratitude those whose lives of service, whose self-giving has made this possible. And we pray that the memory of their sacrifice may inspire us to invest our energy, our strength, and our resources to the course of creating a land that truly offers justice and peace to all its children. May we give and not count the cost, fight and not heed the wounds, labor and not seek for rest, work and not ask for reward, save that of knowing that we have kept faith with those who have died, that we have held high the torch that they lit and passed to our hands. As we remember this day those who laid down their lives in a spirit of unselfish service, let us pledge ourselves anew to dedicated lives of service so that we can make Canada what it ought to be, a place where those who are fortunate respond to the needs of those on the margins, a place that honors all traditions and accomplishments, a place where we stand on guard for the rights of all against oppression in any of its forms. Amen.
Thank you for being with us today, wherever you are. And although we can't all see one another, we believe the fallen we honor have seen and will know that you remember them.